10 North Wales men who women should avoid at all costs. Erin Wynne Thomas Jones. A woman believed her neck would snap and she would die as her partner strangled her. The victim was let go and fell to the floor, but Erin Wynne Thomas Jones then kicked her in the face. A judge said Jones, 32, had used multiple methods of control over the woman during years of abuse. Jones admitted engaging in controlling or coercive behavior and intentional strangulation and was jailed for 20 months on each charge, to run concurrently. His barrister said he had been reenacting childhood events. Prosecutor Brian Treadwell told Carnarvon Crown Court that the couple had been in a relationship for 11 years and it started good, but Jones, of Penygroes, Llanfairpwll, Holyhead, became verbally and later physically abusive, often after consuming alcohol or drugs. Geoffrey Hallet. Geoffrey Hallet, aged 25 years old, of Mays Trisant Green Park Talbot, Rhondda Taff, was jailed at Carnarvon Crown Court for 22 months for assault occasioning actual bodily harm in Gwynedd. Hallet punched and bit his girlfriend during a stay at a Gwynedd hotel. Geoffrey Hallet and his partner had been staying in Carnarvon, but he accused her of showing an interest in other men. Hallet, who had been drinking with her in local pubs, attacked her when they got back to their room, leaving her with a bloody nose, a cut cheek and a gash when she hit her forehead on a sink. He admitted to 2 assaults causing actual bodily harm, unlawful wounding and damaging her phone at Ty Castell near Carnarvon Castle. A judge at Carnarvon Crown Court told the defendant he should be ashamed and jailed him for 22 months. The court heard Hallet and the victim had been in a relationship for about a year. Liam Grimwood. Liam Grimwood, aged 30, humiliated and degraded his partner who lived an awful existence. Grimwood accused the woman of infidelity, alienated her from her friends and even spat on her. Eventually, she had enough. She ran to her mother's house nearby when the full extent of the 30-year-old's behavior became clear. Grimwood, of Prestatyn, admitted engaging in controlling or coercive behavior in an intimate relationship. A judge jailed him for 3 years in April. Lloyd Watson Lloyd. Lloyd Watson Lloyd, aged 28 years old, of Lys Dewi Sant, Bangor, was jailed for a total of 20 months for offences including breaching a restraining order and common assault of an emergency worker. Lloyd tried to get into his former partner's home despite a ban. He smashed up her BMW's windscreen. Lloyd also assaulted a police officer by spitting at him and making vile comments at him when he was arrested. Carnarvon Crown Court heard Lloyd had been in a relationship with his ex since he was 16, but it ended in March this year. Lloyd was convicted of making threats to kill and a communications offence and was given a restraining order in July prohibiting him from contacting her. But 5 weeks later police got a report that he was at her house in Masgaken, Bangor at 6 a.m. on August 25, said prosecutor Michael Whitty. Police were called and an officer gave chase. Matthew Winston Ley. Matthew Winston Ley is a violent thug, locked up for brutalizing his former partner, and was jailed again after he admitted harassment and breaching a court order not to contact her. A judge at Mold Crown Court heard how Matthew Winston Ley abused the victim from Greenfield, Flintshire. Winston Ley, aged 31 years old, of Alderwood Avenue in Liverpool, was made subject to a year-long restraining order when he was locked up for kicking and stamping on the mum of one's face, the court heard in May. Mr. Treadwell said the victim had wanted to continue their relationship when he came out of prison, but the judge overruled this for her safety and well-being. Despite the order remaining in place, Winston Ley breached it by sending letters to her whilst he was behind bars. The court heard that, once the relationship began again in January 2023, he would binge on alcohol and drugs and become violent again. Stephen Peter Blake. An unknown male made racial slurs against his partner as he strangled her twice. Stephen Peter Blake had flown into a rage when he found a text on his partner's phone from another man. Blake, 26, fled the scene but was found weeks later at an address in Rowarben. In January, a judge at Mold Crown Court condemned his behavior and jailed him for 18 months. Prosecutor David Mainstone said, Blake, of no fixed address, had been in a relationship with Maria Cadell for about a year. Richard Penk. Richard Penk, aged 46 years old, of St. David's Park, Eloy, was jailed for 9 months at Carnarvon Crown Court today for harassment by breaching a restraining order. Richard, who sent unpleasant and upsetting messages to his ex-wife, has been jailed for breaching a restraining order not to contact her. Richard Penk was sent to prison for 9 months for harassment by breaching a restraining order. Carnarvon Crown Court heard the 46-year-old had been convicted of stalking Samantha Pickard. He was banned from contacting her but sent a barrage of offensive messages and emails to her. Police were called in and he admitted breaching the order. The court heard a 4-year restraining order prohibiting Penk from contacting his ex-wife had been imposed in November 2021. Robert Samuel Roberts. Robert Samuel Roberts, aged 33 years old, of Bro Ednifed, Llangefni, was jailed at Mold Crown Court for a total of 30 weeks for offences including harassment. A woman saw her stalker ex-partner in a field near her house wearing camouflage gear and a balaclava. She also had to turn her back garden into a fort due to Robert Samuel Roberts' behaviour. He later harassed a second former partner. A judge at Mold Crown Court said Roberts doesn't accept it when relationships are over and jailed him for a total of 30 weeks. Prosecutor Matthew Dunford said Roberts had had a 4-year relationship with another woman which ended in 2018. He had assaulted her in 2019 and there was a restraining order in place. Stephen Roberts. Stephen Roberts, of Craigerdon, Llandudno, was jailed for 3 years for engaging in coercive or controlling behaviour. Stephen, who attacked the mother of his children for months, has been branded a danger to women by her. Stephen Roberts, of Llandudno, verbally and physically attacked her for months. He admitted to engaging in controlling and coercive behavior. The 31-year-old, who refused to leave his prison cell for sentencing, failed to attend his trial in July and managed to avoid the police for nearly 7 months. He has also since missed 2 previous sentencing hearings. Prosecutor David Roberts said the drawing out of the court process by the defendant amounted to a final attempt to control his former partner and convinced the judge sitting at Mold Crown Court to continue in his absence.